All right, this is the light activity that is entirely demonic. It's impossible light activity. It has nothing to do with the light source that you see over my head while the people of the state that are group stalking, crossing path under that light source, which follows me from the leasing office at 1810 as I walk in this direction to come back to my apartment, which is building 1806, and that light source is over my head as I'm capturing that. And they're walking in engineered light that's appearing underneath the covering. That's impossible light activity that they're walking in other words. You also know it's impossible light activity because the light source is here for 11 hours in the day, rising and setting at the same address. It's impossible light activity, not in the natural environment. And you're also looking at this, which is inside of my apartment, while demons are engaging in that systematic maintenance of presence and what is the communication of a threat, while you are aware of the fact that demons surround you and you're subject to surveillance. The entity also, I want to document, that's 18065 who's crossing path in those still images that you'll see as I'm walking to my apartment and the light source is over my head. This is the engineered light that awaits me inside of my apartment, and the entity sounds helicopter activity as I walk upstairs after I capture images of the people of the state acting via 1806 number 5. All of the people of the state, the head of households that is, because all 59 units, they are identified and they are engaging in what is criminal maintenance of presence while you have this demonic environment. This is the same thing that you're seeing. Well, you're looking at the impossible light where this crack right here appears across the ceiling. Remember that light activity where the entity is engaging what is light that you see, my magnified size of my shadow, which you can still see right now. This is magnification. All right, this is one method of engineered light. This is another method of engineered light. My apartment is filled with engineered light. This is a demonic environment. You're not walking up and down the stairs coincidentally, you're stalking. All right, and you're also doing it with an entity that likes to sound helicopter activity as I document you. All 59 units are going to, not 59 units, all third parties living at the crime scene, engaged in what is the perpetual sex offense, engaging in what is criminal conduct, which is surveillance, 24-hour surveillance, they're all going to federal prison. And that's exactly why. The ease with which the entity engages in the sex offense, the ease with which they engage in what is terrorism, and they're acting with an entity that is literally psychotic and providing ongoing corroboration while the entity is flying over, doing laps, like I said, over my apartment, over my office, just like you saw the state doing in that black airplane. The same exact amplification, the same exact simultaneity of conduct, a demon that is also monitoring on a communication device and communicates a threat, engaging in what is taking another lap over me in a building. These demons get some sort of satisfaction while they're also monitoring by just flying over my head. You've seen them do this, communicate that threat literally on video while I documented. Remember, third-party group stalker Don Nagel. Take a look at that documentation. He's going to federal prison for a long time because of what I'm subject to. And while the entity engaged in communicating that threat to my life while I was documenting him. And while I live in this apartment and subject to this identification of the pattern of conduct, you're going to remember what they're doing, which is walking by you. That's called crossing path. And you're understanding the specific environment that remains 24 hours a day. They know exactly when my panties are down. They know exactly when I'm walking out of my apartment. That's what Access LA engaged in today. A demon that is terrorizing you with the maintenance of the specific environment audibly, visibly, and while they are all in your path, keeping you under surveillance. That's terrorism. You're going to understand that. And then the terrorists and the sex offending stalkers want to further threaten you while you expose them and enforce your rights. That is the psychopath. Those are the demon possessed. And I want to be clear, the images that you saw, they're demon possessed. They're not speaking in gibberish, which, by the way, any third party that does engage in speaking gibberish, all it is audible activity. Understand that. There's no difference between one that you would associate as looking weird or clearly having some sort of dysfunction versus a demon that has clean clothes on, has even a good job, drives a nice car, lives in a nice neighborhood, demon possessed equally. This is what you need to learn. Okay? I want to be clear. It is currently 12:33 p.m. This is the maintenance of the light source outside of my apartment, just like you saw as I walked in here. An engineered light inside of my apartment. It is not separate from what LAPD is doing in helicopters, what the state is doing by airplanes, also in a specific environment where the sun is rising and setting, also in an environment where engineered light is present, just like you see on my ceiling. And then they think they could just walk past you and that you're not going to know. That's the false pretenses of this whole system. It's marked by what is malice. Just because you're malicious doesn't mean that you are highly intelligent, okay? Just because you are wicked, okay, just because you have a lot that engage in plotting against one person, that does not make them superior. It does not make them in any way formidable, okay? It does not make them a competitor. It doesn't make them in any way Smart, okay? You've seen the engineer light, the multiple shadows. You've seen the light source that remains for 11 hours in a day. What sort of iteration of the natural environment is that ever going to be? And no expert will sit in any federal court and support that and speak to it. It's not going to happen. Okay, the entity is engaged in the pattern of conduct. Here's the light source directly above my apartment. And this is the environment. Let me be clear. Directly above my apartment here at 1806 is not over there in front of building 1810. That's the stalker that is following crossing path as I'm down here about to walk up the stairs. That's a stalker. And that's how you know that they're demons as well. Demons stalk in the path with engineered light. The light source remains over me as I walk back to building 1806. They're walking in engineered light that's reaching underneath a structure. All right, they're walking in it, and those are demons that are doing so. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter what they're wearing. It doesn't matter what they're driving. You're looking at that engineered light. You're looking at the maintenance of the light source. You're looking at that demonic behavioral pattern. Do not be deceived. Okay? Let me be clear. The demon possessed wants you to think that that they are normal, that they are engaged in ordinary, normal life, disinterested, disconnected. The target individual is a stranger. They rely on all of those legally irrelevant facts. Legally irrelevant. Okay, you're understanding what's beyond any coincidence. It's beyond a coincidence, capturing the pattern of conduct. And you are inextricably linked to that system that surrounds the targeted individual. And therein lies the malice of a demon-possessed population that's engaged in criminal surveillance. It is currently 12:35 p.m. This is P.O.C.